live. Give me one moment, guys, because this phone starts to act up on me, and you know I need my phone because I'm blind. There we go. You know I need my phone. Okay. I'm getting better and better at being here on time for you guys. All right. So we're live. We're good. And you guys already know me. I like to get right into it as people start to pour in over time in the chat. They'll, catch up, I guess. But it's going to be streamed. So whoever couldn't make it, you guys know it's going to be streamed on YouTube and on Facebook. And whoever does join us will, depending on where we are in the chat, will more than likely join in. And of course, everything's going to be pretty much titled and so forth and so on. So we know how it all goes. So we're just going to get started. Welcome to Intuitive Vibes, Narc Survival 101. It's your girl Erica here. For anyone who is new to the channel, if you're just peeking in, stick around. You may hear something that you need to know, maybe something that's going on with your situation. It might be something that resonates with your situation. And of course, if you like today's live session, be sure to go through some of my content. And of course, if you like my content, be sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you're notified each time I put up a video or if I put up something on the community board. And of course, to all of my existing vibers, welcome back, guys. So, holy crap, I got my phone on my laptop, which you guys know I like to have my notes ready. And it just went crazy on the keyboard. So, oh, thank God it did not touch my notes. Okay, let me just move this down. So, guys, we're just going to move this down because I don't want to get anything mixed up. In today's live, what I wanted to talk about, I mentioned this in last week's live chat. What I wanted to talk about was narcissistic victim syndrome. Okay. I wanted to talk about what it means, what it is to us, and of course, some of the signs that you or someone you know may be struggling with narcissistic victim syndrome. And we're just going to pretty much get into it. And of course, you know, as people begin to come in, hey, Gil, hi, sweetheart. As people begin to come in, of course, you know me, put your 2 cents in. Let me know, you know, your story. Let me know what it is that you know about it. You guys know how it goes, okay? The spotlight is not just on me, even though it is, but it's not just on me. All right? So don't forget to brag about, yes, I was with Amanda over the week. I'm not going to brag about it, Gil. But had a great time with Amanda over the weekend. Played a few games of Uno. So a lot of you who are on my Instagram, I do put it on my Instagram stories that, you know, we play a lot of, you know, we played Uno this weekend and Trouble. So if you guys are familiar with those games, you know, they're old school games, but if you're familiar with them, you know how it goes. Uno has been one of the games that manages to either break up relationships or make families fight with one another. But it was a great time. It was all fun. We had a really great time, and we got she actually ordered another deck, better deck for us to use so we can have fair advantage. Amanda, should we say that? More fair advantage. So we'll keep you guys posted on how that game turns out with the new deck. But guys, in this video, what I wanted to talk about again was narcissistic victim syndrome. Okay, I'm trying so hard to keep with my notes. Now, the first thing we gotta understand is narcissistic victim syndrome clearly is a condition that people struggle with when they have been either living with a narcissist, dealing with a narcissist, whether it be in a romantic relationship or in a family setting. But just to kind of go back for a second, first thing we're going to do is talk about what is narcissistic abuse. So again, guys, I wrote my notes down. Now, narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional abuse from someone who suffers narcissism or sociopathy. Okay, narcissism, NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, sociopathy. You hear the word sociopath kind of in there. This is someone who suffers ASPD, which is antisocial personality disorder. Okay, and just bear in mind, you can have someone who is a narcissist and a sociopath, therefore being a narcissistic sociopath. Okay, but it's a form of abuse from someone who suffers narcissism or sociopathy, excuse me. Now, these people tend to, whether they're conscious or not, they tend to use words, language, certain behaviors to alter, to damage their victims' behaviors, to pretty much manipulate them. So it's kind of like a narcissist, someone who suffers NPD uses tactics, which we know a lot of these tactics, guys. You guys know I go over a lot of these different tactics. They use a lot of these tactics to alter the behaviors of another individual. Okay. Therefore, throughout the course of the time that they're with that person, they turn them into a victim, basically. Because when you are utilizing manipulation and you're trying to alter someone's behaviors, you're trying to basically mind control them, you are turning them into a victim. You're affecting their free will. So you're turning them into a victim of manipulation, mind games, all forms of abuse. Now, this is where we have to think it's pretty much thought control or emotional manipulation. Okay, a narcissist will do a lot of different things to emotionally manipulate you. So they'll do things to make you feel guilty. They will do things to make you feel shame, to make you feel self-conscious, to make you feel insecure, to make you pretty much not be the same person you were when you started dealing with them. Now, we're talking romance here, but of course, within a family setting, this has been going on for a long period of time. And because in family settings, because these types of behaviors have been normalized, they've been normalized by other family members, primarily by the narcissist, because the narcissist is the dictator of the whole dynamic. The kind of behaviors and abuse that has been going on has been normalized. It's been considered something that's, it's just been going on for so many years. It's pretty much, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's oh, thank you, Natalia. Thank you so much. It's pretty much, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And of course, in any kind of dynamic, in a setting, family setting, romance, friends, you're always going to have enablers. I think one of the biggest problems in these types of settings is that whenever you have a setting with enablers, it's going to be continued, because enablers are the people who kind of enforce it. A lot of us were enablers. A lot of us enabled this type of behavior consciously, some people, unconsciously, other people. At being an enabler, I was an enabler once, twice, maybe 3 times, maybe more than that, but being an enabler is generally just, it's kind of like a narcissist made it your lifeline. So it's pretty much like that trauma bond in your dynamic was your lifeline. That was the cord that was holding you together with a narcissist, whether it be your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, anybody. If you were in a dynamic with a narc, that trauma bond was pretty much the lifeline between the two of you. And especially for people who have been in codependent relationships, because if you were codependent, and by codependent, you were very high, relax, welcome, sweetheart. If you were codependent and you were very reliant on your narcissist, if you were very attached in a very unhealthy manner, because codependency is not healthy, guys. It's not healthy. It's pretty much an attachment that is made between one individual and another based on a certain form of trauma. Okay, codependency, you hear codependency all the time. You hear, codependent on alcohol, codependent on drugs, codependent on another individual. You have people that are codependent on other people, and it's because, of course, of their upbringing. So people who suffer codependency suffer codependency because of their upbringing. It's because of an emotional detachment that they've had with their caregivers. So if you were a codependent person, it's because you were not emotionally fulfilled as children. You weren't emotionally, you didn't have that emotional connection with your caregivers. And because you have, you have that level of empathy and sympathy, you craved it. You craved it so much that when you got into the relationship with a narcissist, and like I told you guys before, not every narcissist is the same. Not every narc is going to be the same. So not every narc is going to love bomb you. Not every narc is going to, make you feel like you're on cloud nine. They're not going to do that. But their primal focus is to gain something out of you. So of course, if they're trying to gain something out of you, they're going to, they flat out tell you, listen, I'm a lying, manipulative person. I look to use people just to gain something because I have a very inflated, superficial ego. How many of you are going to fall for someone like that? How many of you are going to sit there and say, okay, well, at least you were honest with me? No, a lot of you are going to run in the other direction. So because they can't do that, because they can't give you the full-on truth, what are they going to do? They're going to utilize manipulation. They're going to do certain things to, that they're going to say things that you want to hear. They're going to pretty much put you in the position to trust them, pretty much put you in the position to say, well, this person is a really, this person, I feel a connection with this person. I feel in tune with this person. This person makes me feel good about myself. And of course, they're doing that because they're trying to gain your trust. They're trying to gain that connection. But what you perceive as a connection, you perceive it as a connection. They perceive it as, I'm just telling you what you want to hear. I'm just, making you feel this way because this is what I've learned that, what people want. So let me do all of this. And once you give in to me and my every whim, once you give in to me and what it is that I want out of this situation, if depending on how long I can, pull you along and depending on how much I can get out of you until I get bored, because I know eventually I'm going to get bored because I can't even, fulfill my own needs, fulfill myself emotionally and sustain self-love. Once I get bored, then I'm going to pretty much do what it is that I do, which is, of course, discard you. Oh, Nadia, I'm so happy. I'm so glad that you're able to. I'm glad I could be a part of that too. I really, really am. And that's the whole point of doing this for you guys. Like I do this, I may not put up as many videos as I used to before, but, I always make sure that I'm here with you guys every week. I'm here with you guys to, to give you the reminders and of course to let your voices be heard, because a lot of victims' voices haven't been heard. So I'm really, really glad that that you're going through your healing journey, and I'm glad that I'm a part of that. I really, really am. That means a lot to me. Trust me, it really does. But yeah, it boils down to, of course, what it is they want and what it is they can get from you. Okay. And like I said before, guys, not every narcissist is going to be the same. Not every narc is the same. Not every narc is going to, be all charming and forthcoming. And that's what you think is forthcoming. They're not all going to be that way. You have some narcissists that are, you remember what I told you guys before. You have the extroverted narcs, which are the ones that will, I think of myself as being the shit, and I'm going to project that onto you. I'm going to show you that, even though deep down inside they have a whole load of issues, they are going to give you that illusion. But then you have vulnerables, inverted narcissists, who do the total opposite. A narcissist is a narcissist, but we got to understand that they run, if one runs one way, another one's going to run another way. So we have to keep that in mind. Raphael, the discarding part is like a punishment to keep giving. Yes, it is. And unfortunately, you have a lot of people who, which we're going to talk about it because it's here. We're going to talk about that as well, because that's part of the narcissistic victim syndrome, which I'm going to shorten it to NVS. Okay, guys, or narc vic syndrome. All right. But people who suffer from this, unfortunately, still, these are the kind of people who are, because we all go through this syndrome, guys. Everybody has gone through it. So depending on where you are in your healing, depending on where you are in your own journey, everyone goes through this syndrome. Okay. And unfortunately, you have people that are still going through it, that they haven't gotten beyond it. A lot of you have gotten beyond it, but some people are still stuck in it. Okay. And this is helpful not only for you, but it's helpful for people that, your friends, your family, anybody. It's helpful for people. It's helpful to know the signs and know the behaviors, because then you can utilize what it is you've learned to help people, to help them. So maybe you're not going through, narc victim syndrome, but maybe somebody else is. And maybe, that somebody does not know to check out videos like this or seek help like this. You may be that person. You may be that stepping stone that can lead them in that direction, and that, I would say, for anyone who's going through it, that's probably one of the biggest blessings that someone can have, because it's, if you guys have gone through it alone, you know what that feels like. You know the pain, what that pain feels like. But if you know someone who's going through it, you have the knowledge, you pass it along to them. I had no idea about narcissists. I found out after a 3-year experience with my ex-boss. They're literally the devil on earth. But like you said, they are all different. Yes, they are. You have which, we've gone over so many different ones, guys. A lot of the common ones that I notice that people deal with are malignant narcissists, which are the really like brutal, devious ones. Those are like the dark narcissists. Those are like bordering sociopaths. Very callous, very cold, no empathy whatsoever. Superficial, it's like black or white, hot or cold. It's superficial charm. They pretty much, do everything to lure you in and to attract you. And then once they have you in their web, it's just straight callousness. Like you don't even recognize the person that you were at all. You don't recognize who they are, who you're dealing with. They're not the same person. Another form of narcissist that I notice people deal with are somatic narcissists, which are the gold diggers. The very high sedity ones, the ones that have what did my boss used a phrase, and I actually really liked it too. She said, what is it? Champagne taste but beer pockets, something like that, But it's pretty much, they have like that high lifestyle, like very luxurious type of lifestyle that they want. They have to have high-end products, they have to have expensive name brand things, and they would unfortunately, they'd be willing to do anything to get these things, and clearly you can't sit there and say, well, where did you get that from? If you're over here working a job that pays you, I'm not knocking anyone depending on their income, but if you're working a job that pays you, let's say 20,000, 25,000 a year, but you're walking around with, Gucci, Prada, Yves Saint Laurent, all these different things, where, you understand? A lot of somatic narcissists, however, will go into debt trying to live a lifestyle just to impress other people. They will literally live off of cheese and crackers just so they can pose for the world, because narcissists care about what people think. They do care about what people think. They are very sensitive to criticism. You can't criticize these people. You can't sit there and even give constructive criticism. Imagine giving them an insult. You can't even give them constructive criticism, because they'll snap at you. They'll snap, they'll get, very abrasive, they'll get very brutal. They will come at you with a full force. It's like, if you've ever gotten into an argument with someone, or a disagreement, a dispute, what have you, and you've managed to hold your cool, you're like, okay, are you serious right now? Like, what is this all about? Why are you acting this way? A narcissist is totally opposite. A narcissist is pretty much like, hi to Lori. A narcissist is pretty much someone who's got the gun in their hand and they're just amped, waiting to pull the trigger. That's how a narcissist is. So the minute you give them any kind of constructive criticism, or the minute you say something that reflects on them negatively, or they take it as a narcissistic injury, they will come at you with everything that they've got. They will come at you with everything that they got. And it's like, whoa, what the hell did that come from? They will hit you where it hurts. They are the type of people that hit you where it hurts. If you've ever confided in them certain details about yourself, personal things about yourself, private things about yourself, very intimate things, if you've ever confided in them and they feel slighted by you, in other words, if they feel like you did some, I don't know, something disloyal, or you just, you rejected them, whatever the case may be, whatever the case is, trust and believe everything you've confided them with, they will use that against you. They will use it against you. They will hurt you, and they will try to hurt you with everything that they've got, because that's their MO. Hi, hello, Katie. Welcome, sweetheart. That's their MO. That's just like, I'm gonna hit you and I'm gonna hit you and I'm gonna hit you. And it's no different if if they're smearing you, clearly, if they're smearing your name, or if they're, if you've rejected them, if you said, no, I'm not dealing with you, because, a lot of people who are victims of narcissistic abuse, let's be clear on one thing, guys. Okay. Even though a lot of you may have only experienced it once, and once was enough for you, there are a lot of people who have forgiven, have let them re-enter their lives a numerous amount of times. And each and every time the narcissist came back into their life, they managed to hurt them even more. They've managed to hurt them 10 times worse. And one of the things I learned, because I couldn't understand, if you if someone has done a repetitive cycle with narcissist, or a particular narcissist, how family can be accepting of that. Okay. So if, for example, you had, let's say you had a friend and they were continuously going back to the same cycles with the same narcissist, and their family, the victim's family, doesn't, they don't really intervene or interfere or say, listen, this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing this, look at what this person did to you, why are you continuously allowing, if you have the family that's not even in support of you maintaining, steady mental health, stable mental health, knowing that other individual is toxic. Look at everything you went through. You know what? That lets me know, and I read on it, that victims' family members will often encourage the victim to go back to the abuser, because the abuser has managed to really manipulate the family into believing that they're like the best. They're the best thing. They're the best, listen, okay, yeah, this person, all right, listen, this person committed infidelity. Mind you, I don't know how close you guys are with your family. I don't know if you guys tell your family everything that goes on in your life, or if you give, certain people of your family certain information. But so many things it's just in plain sight. It's in plain sight. But if you have family members that are encouraging you to listen, you know what, people make mistakes, why don't you just work it out with them? Why don't you just talk to them? Why don't you? No. But I've learned that because the victim was so good at manipulating everybody. I mean, come on, not the victim, I'm sorry, the abuser, I'm sorry, guys. The abuser was so good at manipulating everyone, including the victim. When the family encourages the victim to give the abuser another chance, the victim is sitting there saying, maybe the abuse really didn't happen. When you have no supporters, when you have no one who is really trying to encourage you to get out of a toxic dynamic, rather stay within it, you're going to sit there and second guess everything too, because your family are the closest to you. Those are the people that you trust your life with. Those are the people that have been in your life throughout your entire life. And if they are encouraging, this person made a mistake, not really knowing the full story or the full extent of the abuse, this person made a mistake, you should give them another chance. Or if you were married to a narcissist, you have some family members, you have some, even some parents that don't believe in divorce, don't believe in, separation. They believe in working through everything to make the marriage work. If you have family members that are encouraging that, you have a lot of people who have family members who do that, they will stay stuck in that cycle of continuously going back to the same narcissist, because, you pretty much don't have a logical mind reaching out saying, listen, this person done cheated on you. This person done lied to you. This person done did X, Y, and Z to you. Why are you dealing with this person? Okay. Not one logical person comes out and says these things. Rather, they're saying, you guys got kids together. You guys have, you guys have been in each other's lives for so many years. You guys have been married for over 10 years. You guys need to just work it out, work through your problems, sort through your problems. But they're not understanding the extent of the abuse that you are enduring within that dynamic. A lot of victims deal with that, and they end up going back to the same narcissist. They end up going back to the same, staying in the relationship, staying in the marriage, because they're not being told otherwise. They're not really being given that nugget of truth. They're being given that, that shove, and they're questioning, okay, maybe it was, and that's where they kind of fall along the lines of, well, maybe, okay, they did make a mistake. All right, maybe we can make it try. Maybe we can make it work again. Maybe we can, try and work through our problems, and try, failing to understand that all of this was pretty much in the Narc's plans. This was all pretty much in the Narc's plans. This was all pretty much part of what it is that they want to do, which is to have the ultimate control of your life. Wait, now, ignorance might be bliss in this regard. Go no contact and go and no looking at their posts. Yes, I encourage, and I say that to everyone too. Listen to me carefully, guys. I mean, I've had people ask me, when I was going through the motions, I've had people ask me, how did you manage to, like, resist temptation? How did you manage to resist doing certain things? In the beginning, which is normal for anyone, okay? It's normal for you to be curious. It's normal for you to want to see things. It's normal for you to want to go and look and search, okay? I did that. I got my answers. I walked away. Things can only phase you if you allow them to phase you. And you can only allow things to phase you if you go out there looking. You heard that saying, you go looking, you're going to find, right? A lot of the things that people of this caliber do is all to get a reaction out of you. It's to get you to react. It's to get you to stay stuck. It's to get you to, maybe beg them to come back, or maybe, question your own value, because you've already, in your dynamic with a narcissist, you have already, you pretty much let the narcissist appraise you. You let the narcissist deem what your value is, or should I say was, and listen, it's not said to you as far as insulting you. It's said to you as far as, this is the actual reality of it. In your relationship, okay, your value laid in the hand of that person. They were the one who determined your value. They were the one who pretty much said what goes. And it's not like you were doing it willingly, because you weren't. When someone has to use manipulation to get something out of someone, I mean, come on. Like I said, that's affecting your free will. That's affecting your free will. And you know, gaslighting is not part of the package deal. Okay? Stonewalling is not part of the package deal. Giving you the silent treatment, that's not part of the deal. Okay? Lying to you is not part of the deal. Cheating on you is not part of the deal. Verbally abusing you is not part of the deal. Emotionally abusing you, physically abusing you is not part of the deal. That's not what a relationship is. And everything they've done, they've breached the contract a long time ago. It just took you a while to understand that. It took you a while to realize that. No matter what they say, could be saying about you, unless it's absolute slander, I guess. And you know what? Awake now, I'll be honest with you. I don't even fall for that, because they do that to get a reaction out of you. I don't fall for that. I don't. Like, I personally, everybody who has been in my environment, I blocked. And I'm like, you know something? You can sit behind, you can sit behind a computer screen. You can sit behind your phone. You can sit there and say that Erica's a whore. Erica's this. Erica's that. I don't care. I don't care. I know who I am. The genuine people in my life know who I am. My family knows who I am. Everybody who knows me, that's all that matters to me. The people who matter to me are all that matter to me. So if they want to sit there and talk crap about me, listen, they could talk all the crap they want. I'm very direct. And the only thing that makes me, I guess, a bit different is that I don't put names. I don't do names, because I'm not trying to, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I'm not that devious a person. I can be devious, guys, and I'm going to be honest with you. I can, but I'm not going to sit here and call someone out by their name on social media, possibly posing harm on them or harm on people around them. Okay. That's not me. If I wanted to say something to that individual, I would personally go into their inbox and say it to them. I have put up plenty of posts. I have put up plenty of videos that have expressed and explained and have really brought out the nitty-gritty of my situation. Okay. And a result of it was I had an ex that came and he apologized to me. Someone sent him the link to my account. Well, not my account, but to my YouTube. He saw the video and the total opposite of what that person was intending on him to do happened. And he apologized to me. And you know something? We became very cordial with one another. Okay. At the end of the day, I said all I needed to say, to whom I needed to say. And if anybody has a problem, and I've made that clear, if anybody has a problem, I told people, because there have been plenty of fake accounts hitting me up, plenty of fake accounts looking through my social media, plenty of fake accounts trying to pose as victims of abuse and all kinds of stuff. And at the end of the day, that's all they're going to be. They want to slander my name? You can slander my name. Just make sure that when you use my name and you do all of this on social media, that check comes in the mail for me. Okay? Because if you're getting paid for slandering my name, I want my cut. That's the only difference. If you're getting paid for slandering my name, that check better be in my mail. Because if it's not, I'm going to have a lawyer up your ass. That's how I do it. Other than that, you want to sit here and slander me? You want to sit here and talk about me? Shit. You know what? All you're doing is bringing people to me. Bringing people to my social media. Okay? And you know what? At the end of the day, people who listen to stuff like that, when they get to know you, they'll be like, oh, crap. You're nothing like they said you were. You are absolutely nothing like they posed you to be. That's slander. That person is slandering me. What I'm doing is I'm educating and I'm helping other people in their healing. What they're doing is being a bunch of bitter bitches, don't got nothing better to do with their time, so they got to put my name into some shit. Let them slander. I don't care. Me personally, I don't care. I really don't. It is what it is. Raphael, life is a mind game for them. Always looking to their beneficial. Yeah. It's always going to be that way for people like that. It's always going to be that way for them. you know. And I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. They're gonna meet the wrong person. They're gonna meet the wrong person, and when they do meet the wrong person, that's gonna be the right person at the same time. Because the problem is, this is why narcissists study you, and this is why they learn your ins and outs. They learn your buttons. They learn what buttons to press. They learn what to do. They learn what not to do. Because what works on one person doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work on someone else. So if, for example, your narcissist, you know, your ex-narcissist went and pulled all of the stops on you, and they managed to succeed with it, and that next person that they have lured in, okay, and they think, okay, well, you know what, I did it to Raphael, so I'm gonna do it to this person too. That next person might not be so nice about it. That next person might just end up whooping their ass. That next person might just end up putting them in the hospital, or might just end up doing something way worse. The problem that these types of people have is that they think they know everything. They think they know everything because they study, you know, your certain mannerisms. They take your kindness as a weakness. They take people's kindness as a weakness. And many a times my kindness has been used as, you know, and looked at, perceived as a weakness. But at the end of the day, and Amanda could tell you, because, you know, she spent a lot of time with me. At the end of the day, I can be a very brutal person. I can be an extremely brutal person when it boils down to how I speak, when it boils down to if I'm angry, if I'm extremely angry, I can be an extremely brutal person. But them, they are, you know, they're going to continue doing what they do. And like I said, they're going to end up meeting with the wrong person, and the wrong person is going to really push them. And by push them, it could be by physical force. It's going to really push them to rethink what it is that they're doing. I think there's need to be more awareness on TV, social media, just education about these people. They need to be exposed to society more by educating. Maybe they will hide under a rock. Well, you know something, I agree with you as far as it needs to be talked about more, and it needs to be exposed more when it boils down to, you know, TV and social media. But in today's society, unfortunately, when it boils down to mental health awareness, you know, if you look at how social media is structurized, how it's set up, and what is more commonly watched compared to other things. You know, when I first started my channel, you know, I was into like doing the educational parts of it. And even so, in the mix of it, it's not to say I was like trying to be an entertainer, but I was trying to show the different types, the different faces of how narcissists are. If you guys have seen my video interview with the narcissist, that was not in a form to entertain. I mean, granted, certain expressions as an empathic person, yes, but it was more so to show the side of narcissism that is just so gut-wrenching. It's gut-wrenching. When I did that video, I was so, I don't know. People would tell me, you played the part so well. And I'm like, it's a compliment in a sense that, you know, I'm showing you a side of a person that your subconscious couldn't, you know, your conscious, I should say, would not see, refused to see. So when I showed sides of a narcissist, when I showed certain angles and certain characteristics of a narcissist, it was to show you that this is really who they truly are. But because your mind at the time was not trying to see them this way, it was refusing to see them this way. It was just pretty much, no, this can't be, this can't be, this can't be. This person loves me. This person cares about me. This person, you know, they have their moments, but they, you know, and even if they apologize to you guys during the interim of your relationships, they apologize. Oh yeah, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, blah, blah, blah. They say sorry on Monday, and then come Thursday, it's the same bullshit again. It's the same thing. It's like, okay, what happened now? What's new now? What did I do now? You know, but when I would do these videos, and playing a character and playing a role, it was not very easy for me to do them. It was not easy because I had to take my mind to a dark place. That's what I had to do. I had to take my mind to a dark place. And if I felt disgusted just playing the part, I felt disgusted as a human being, as an empathetic person. I felt completely disgusted playing the part, you know. And some people, I put trigger warnings whenever I do videos like that. I always put trigger warnings. Some people were like, I couldn't even get through the video because it was hitting me. And I don't look to trigger people to make them regress. Okay. What I look to do is to show a point to people to help them understand this is what you would be going back to if you deal with this person again. If you don't pay attention to the red flags, if you don't pay attention to the signs, if you don't use use your intuition, use your mind. Okay. Sometimes it's okay not to put your heart into everything. Okay. Sometimes it's okay to let your mind do the leading for you. Let your mind, let your brain do the leading for you, do the investigating for you. Let your mind do some work. Okay. Give your heart a break and let your mind do some work. So when I do these videos, it's because I want you guys to really see what you could not see at the time when you were dealing with them. Okay. I had contemplated doing one because I did for the female narcissist. I had contemplated doing one for the male narcs, you know, and with the help, of course, of a Snapchat filter, because they have the Snapchat filters where you can like alter your face into the male narcissist. Um, I contemplated doing that one, but I had not, I hadn't gotten into it yet because, at the time I had so much going on and, you know, at the end of the day, I felt like educational, more like speaking directly with everyone was better. And, just reaching out to you guys and talking to you guys was a better alternative for me, you know. I mean, if it's by request, I will be, listen, I'll give you guys that much. If it's by request because you want to just kind of, just see that aspect, see that point, I would consider doing it. Of course, I will have to bring myself back to that place, which if that's how a narcissist thinks and that's how a narcissist feels, and that's the negative energy I feel just playing the role of a narcissist, I thank God I have empathy. And I thank God that I am nowhere near like that, because I couldn't be like that. I could not be like that. That's just like, it's just a disgusting feeling, guys. It really, really is. Not they hate rejections. They hate rejection. Rules don't apply to them. The worst mistake is when companies give narcissists high management positions. Yes, because then they think that I'm your boss. Meantime, like, you don't sign my checks, but I've noticed, like, I wouldn't say they were full blown narcissists, but before I noticed like narcissistic tendencies, and in dealing with ex-colleagues and stuff, I also noticed a bit of sexism. Like, being a woman, especially if it's depending on the like the environment, when you're no offense to you guys, because I love you guys. I love you guys very much, and by guys I mean men. No offense to you guys, but you do have some men that are sexist, and you have some men in the workplace that are extremely narcissistic. They don't have to be narcs, but they can be narcissistic, and they can just really walk with that shallow ego. And I've worked with a few people that have shallow egos, and it's like, it was just such a turnoff, a complete turnoff. It's like, and I'm not even talking on a romantic level. It's just in general. Like, I can't deal with a dude or just see myself in the company of a dude that has a very big ego. Like, you just like sitting there like, yeah, I'm the shit, and no, I did. It's just a real gives you a dry moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I agree these people need to be exposed. Just because you don't see a bruise doesn't mean it's not abuse. Absolutely. You can heal from a bruise, but you can't heal that fast with mental abuse. No, you can't. Because that's like some, for some people it's years. It's years of, it's just ongoing manipulation, ongoing lies, ongoing gaslighting, ongoing, it's like altering. They're literally narcissistic abuse. And when with talking into, the narcissistic, the victim syndrome is years of altering your mind. It's just like it's altering every aspect of your mind to the point that it's so distorted, you don't know left from right. You don't know hot from cold, up from down. You don't know any of it. Okay. And it could be people in your family. You can have narcissists in your family. Hi, Steven. Welcome, sweetheart. It could be people in your family. You don't realize it. Years go by, and it's like, and the only people, if of course, if they can catch on, because it's not caught by the naked eye. So being victims, being previous, I mean, you guys are survivors, but being victims of narcissistic abuse, you clearly could not see the manipulation. So if that person you were dealing with is surrounded by narcissists, if you could not see the manipulation, they could not see the manipulation. This type of lifestyle was normalized for them, guys. It was something that was just pretty much like, this is normal here. This is what you got to deal with, and people who are narcissists or suffer NPD are clearly raised by people who are narcissists or suffer, NPD or extremely narcissistic. And those people have managed to put it in their mind that this is life. This is life. Within these four walls, everything that goes on in these four walls is your life. And you have to apply that out there in the world. And it's just so not true. It's really not true. It's a very distorted way of thinking. Narcissism is a very distorted way of thinking. A personality disorder is a disorder within your personality. It's not about a chemical imbalance in your brain. It's not about a mental illness or issue that you were born with or developed over time because of the history in your family. It's not, it's a personality disorder. It's a disorder of someone's personality because their personality was molded to be that way. And it's very sad. It's extremely sad. Like I know a lot of people are in the stage of being upset, being angry, being like, oh, frustrated and just, and enraged. And you have a lot of people who, maybe possibly want to seek revenge, which I don't advise that, guys. You know me, I don't advise that. And, and I also notice that you have people are on the opposite of that, where they are still trying to seek validation from the narcissist. Okay. So just like we have one, we got to have the other. You got you guys who are survivors, who are just looking to educate yourselves, who are looking to gain the knowledge that you need to help you in your healing and moving forward. And then you have people that are looking for more validation. It's like, okay, for example, well, the narcissist didn't try to hoover me back in. Clearly, we would say, okay, that's a good thing. But they're concerned they're concerned about, well, why hasn't the narc hoovered me? Or, how do I know if they're watching me? Now, are you asking me, are they watching you because you're concerned for your life? Or are you asking me that if they're watching you because you want to feel that sense of validation? You just want to, it makes you feel good knowing that they're watching you. I don't think some people understand the realities and the dangers that can happen in dynamics with narcissists. So, you just like you have survivors who are just trying to move on with their lives, trying to, heal and get away from the trauma and get away from the traumatic bonding. You have people that still look for that validation, unfortunately. To Lori, that's good. Give your heart a break and let your mind do the work. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I strongly, strongly encourage you guys to give your heart a break. Let it rest. Let it, and in most cases, some cases, parts of your mind. Because remember, the empathy is that signal, that connection from your heart to your brain. Okay, that's how you know how to apply empathy to situations, because your heart is sending signals to your brain, to certain parts of your brain. Start using your logic. Start using your logic. Start being more logical. Okay, I'm not saying step over other people. I'm not saying be cold and heartless. I'm not saying any of that. Okay, I'm saying start using your logic. Okay, it's about that time that we all realize, okay, you know what, I see what I went through, I see everything that I've been enduring. I need to smarten up more now. This should be something that allows us to smarten up more. Okay, smarten, which means you're already smart, you just got to take it up a notch. All right, you got to take it up a notch, because believe it or not, you're not the only ones who attracted a narcissist, and you're not the only ones capable of attracting a narcissist. All these people that are walking around town saying get over it, that could never happen to me, blah blah blah, and all this, it couldn't happen to them. It can happen to them. Okay, and just because it hasn't happened right now doesn't mean it would never happen. Now guys, narcissistic victim syndrome is pretty much a condition that occurs when someone has been living with or spent a significant amount of time with someone who's a narcissist. Okay, so this is the condition that one develops after being in a dynamic with a narcissist or someone extremely narcissistic, okay, for an extended period of time. And people who struggle with this particular syndrome, I'm just going to give you a list of a few things, okay? Number one, they doubt their self-worth, okay, and their sanity. So from all the manipulation and everything that was being applied in your relationship with the narcissist, and by that it could be a romantic relationship or it can be in your family setting, guys. This is very general. It's very general. So it could be, apply it where you need to apply it. Okay. Number two, they're very concerned about their flaws. Okay. So people who struggle from this type of syndrome, narcissistic victim syndrome, become very concerned about their flaws. So because the narcissist had pretty much throughout the entire time of your dynamic, criticized you, insulted you, remember what I told you guys, they give you backhanded compliments, and it's kind of like, it's basically putting a negative into a statement that's really supposed to be a positive. So it's like it has positive, like in a way, positive words, but the aura is very negative, and there's like one key word in that statement that really just kind of throws you off. So like you're looking at the person like, wait, are you complimenting me or are you insulting me? Because that statement just made absolutely no sense. It's kind of like an oxymoron. Okay, but they're putting in insulting, they're giving you an insult, but they're masking it with as a compliment. All right. They're very concerned about their flaws, failures, and shortcomings. So, if the narcissist was deflecting blame onto you during the time of your dynamic, everything that they were doing negatively, that reflected negatively in your dynamic, they were deflecting blame onto you. So they were basically blaming you for their behaviors. Okay. For example, when we say shortcomings, we're going to use a prime example. You were in a romantic relationship with a narcissist and they committed infidelity. They cheated on you. And of course, because they deflected onto you, they cheated on you with someone else because, listen, I don't normally say this, but, like, for example, fellas, they cheated on you because, you can't perform, or you can't perform properly, or whatever the case may be. Or ladies, they cheated on you because I don't know, you gained some weight, and and it's like you let yourself go, or whatever the case may be, whatever stupid, superficial, irrelevant, just retarded reason they have. Okay, it's all deflection. So because they deflected it onto you, you internalized that. That in turn became your shortcoming. Okay, that was all them. That was not you. Had nothing to do with you. Okay, had everything to do with them. All right, everything they chose to do was a choice. So if they chose to commit infidelity, that was a choice. Had nothing to do with you. You did not put a gun to their head. You didn't put a knife to their throat saying, sleep with this person, or you didn't do any of that. Okay, so that would be considered, a victim would internalize that and take that as that being their shortcoming. Regardless if they're real or not. So this was basically much like I was telling you guys. These are ideas that they put into your head. These are ideas that they put into your head during the time of your relationship. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to catch a few comments. Butch, hey fam, I love the fact that this community comes together, help get the message out there. Thank you, Butch. Thank you. I'm glad you were able to make it. I'm so going to steal that word, smarten up. Yeah, listen, you're already smart, guys. You guys are smart. Okay. And I've spoken with quite a few of you privately. I've spoken with quite a few of you, through email, and you guys are very smart. You guys are very empathetic people. And that is the kind of thing that these types of people look for. Okay. They know you're smart. They know you have so much love in your heart. They know that you're a caring person, and they know you're capable of sustaining a healthy relationship with someone who deserves you. Their key thing is they have to control your mind to make you believe otherwise. That's it. That's it. I have to control your mind. I have to make you think that you can't do better than me. I have to make you think that you would not be able to last in whether it be your family. You wouldn't be able to last in this world without me, or be a romantic relationship. You wouldn't even be able to last in the dating world. You'll be crawling back to me any minute now. That's what they put into your mind. These are ideas that they put into your mind. And it's crazy because they actually believe this. At some point, they start to believe this themselves. Hello, Kitty, sorry. It really sucks to be with someone this whole time just to find out they never really liked you. What a waste of time. That's you know what? Hello, Kitty, I'll tell you straight up. I truthfully, yeah. I mean, throughout all of this time, you spend time with them, you spend years with them, you've been, but I honestly, in my own personal opinion, everybody's, different. I don't think there's no such thing as waste of time. It's just lessons learned. This had to teach you something. Okay. You may look at it as wasted time, which, you've given to the relationship. You've done all of these things. And at the same time, it's like, damn, I'm mad because I wasted my time. But in a way, I feel like this just taught me something, and it taught me what I do deserve, what I do want, and what I don't want. Okay. This is the kind of experience that you need to pretty much wake you up, open your eyes, because now everything that, make a checklist, write everything down from every relationship you've had in your past. Write everything down. Write down the cons of everything that has happened from any relationship that you've had in your past. And all of these are going to push you in the direction that you need to go, because all of these things on this list that you write down, you're going to make an even bigger list of what I want, what I deserve, and what I will not put up with. Okay. I'm a strong believer that these types of people come into your life to act as a catalyst for something that you need to work on within yourself. Okay. They act as, it's like, they're like teachers in a sense, substitute teacher, if you will. They come in, they do certain things, they teach you something, Okay. On to the next phase. Okay. These are people of seasons. People of seasons, guys. These are not people of lifetimes. Okay. The people like this, people who are, well, first of all, narcissists, they don't do commitments. They don't do commitments. And if you notice, if you know, because you guys may have friends who are narcissists, you guys may have family members who are narcissists. And if you notice certain people in your life that, I mean, listen, everybody is single for different reasons. Okay. I stayed single because I'm working on certain things in my life, and a relationship is just going to be a distraction for me. But there's a difference between my type of single and someone who's single because nobody's putting up with their bullshit. There's a big, big difference, guys. Okay. Or someone who's single because they cannot emotionally connect with people, or because they cannot sustain a relationship with people because they always manage to find a way to sabotage it. Okay. There's a big difference. Narcissists are the kind of people who are they're walking self-sabotages. That's all they are. And the reason they're walking self-sabotage is because they were trained to be that way. They were trained to be that way. Okay. It's kind of like someone in the military. A person who joins the military has no idea what the heck they're doing. Okay. They have to be trained. They have to be trained to fight combat. It's the same thing with the narcissist. They're trained. They were trained to be the way they are by behaviors at home, behaviors between their parents. Okay. So if you have, you know, someone who's a narc, maybe daddy was a narc, mommy was the enabler. Maybe mommy was the narc, daddy was the enabler. Okay. But somewhere along those lines, those behaviors were normalized. Okay. Infidelity was normalized. Abandonment was normalized. Okay. Verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, all of it was normalized because somewhere in those dynamics, there was an enabler. Whether it be mom or dad, whichever parent, there was an enabler. And the enabler was the one who took the abuse and stayed. So they then showed the child, I'm not going anywhere. Mommy cheated on me 15 times. I'm still here. Daddy cheated on me 20 times. I'm still here. Dad talks to me like crap. I'm still here. Mom puts her hands on me, but I'm still here. They normalize these behaviors, and these kids grew up believing that this is the way it is. And, you know, if you know, your dad was a narc and your mom was the enabler, and let's say, you know, you're not the narcissist, but let's just say you got a sibling who's a narcissist, and you see your sibling doing everything to people in relationships that you have gone through in a narcissistic relationship. Clearly, they're doing this because, you know, and even let's go on further. You may wonder, how the hell did they manage to get these relationships? Because they've learned from the narcissist in your life, whichever parent that may have been, how to maneuver around their victim the way that narcissist parent maneuvered around your other parent who was the enabler. Okay? So the narcissist taught them, this is how I get around manipulating mom. This is how I get around, you know, lying to her and cheating on her and stealing from her and beating on her and doing all of this. But you see, she's not going anywhere. She's still here. She's not going anywhere. And they grow up with that. They learned. Trust me, all of this stuff that they were doing, guys, this is learned behavior. This is not something that they just picked up a textbook and said, okay, I'm going to, no, this was learned behavior. They learned from someone in their upbringing. They learned these behaviors. And because one of their, I guess the other parents kept putting up with it, they learned how to maneuver around you. That's why they correlate narcissists with snakes, because they know how to slither. They know how to maneuver. They know how to tug at your heartstrings. They know, and if they've been with you long enough, they know your buttons. They know what to say to you. They know what keywords to say to you. If, you know, listen, fellas, they know how to bat their eyelashes at you, pucker up their lips and say, I love you and I'm sorry and I miss you, and do whatever it is, do that thing that you like. Okay? Oh, they will do that thing that you like Trust me, they know how to get around that. That's why it's my job to do what I do to keep you away from that. Okay, Raphael, can you talk about the blame shifting? I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. Can you talk about the blame shifting? The blame shifting is really more it's pretty much where the manipulator has been either caught, like they there's no way of getting around this. In other words, if they can't like utilize gaslighting, if they can't it's like the buck stops here. They're basically they're gonna retract, and they're gonna basically blame you. They'll blame you for whatever's going wrong. They'll blame you because like it's like, for example, if you were dealing with a narcissist and you were trying to communicate with them, you're trying to bring things to their attention, and you're not trying to be, you're not trying to be stupid about it. You're trying to communicate. You're trying to do like any normal person would do in a relationship and just communicate your feelings. And of course, because you're starting to see through certain cracks and crevices of their mask, and you're trying to, just you're trying to put the pieces together. So you're basically looking at it like this. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything. I'm not trying to say this, but A, B, and C doesn't look right, and we need to sit and talk about this. And of course, the gaslighting and the manipulation and everything will come into place. Now, if you catch them, or if you see with your own eyes, you hear with your own ears, you have the proof. You have the proof of everything, and you try to sit with them again and talk to them and say, explain this to me, because this was told to me before. Now what is going on? Clearly you have caught them in whatever situation. And because they don't like to be cornered, they don't like to be, like it's kind of like you going like this to them, because you pretty much caught on and you caught them in their bullshit. They will try to shift blame by, one, bringing in everything that you were ever insecure about. Okay, so if you have like like certain insecurities within your relationship, and it's a lot of the time, I mean, when narcissists cheat, of course they blame the victims. They will clearly blame you. If there is, if bills aren't being paid or certain responsibilities aren't being taken care of course they don't take accountability, so they'll blame you. They'll pretty much set up the pins, knock them down, and when you say, well, it was my turn, they're gonna look at you and be like, well, if you weren't so slow, I wouldn't have. You understand? So it's kind of like if you point something out to them and you say something and you're angered by it, whatever the case may be, they're going to always have a comeback. They're going to have a snapback, but they're going to do it in a way that it diverts the blame to you. I wouldn't have put my hands on you if you weren't provoking me, if you weren't poking at me, if you weren't, and all you were doing, I mean, everybody's different, guys, so if you, I don't encourage people putting their hands on other people, but if you never put your hands on the individual and they're, they end up putting their hands on you, there's still no reason for that. There is no reason for that. But naturally, I wouldn't have hit you if you hadn't provoked me to do it. I wouldn't have gotten disrespectful with you if you would have just left me the fuck alone like I told you to. It's always got something to do with you. It's always got something to do with, if you didn't, if you wouldn't, if you couldn't, you shouldn't do this, because then look at what happens. It's always something to do with you. Stephen, harsh teachings bring the best lessons. but I'm learning how to love myself more and put up with less bullshit. Yes. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. That was something that we needed. That's as an ex-codependent, I learned that that was something that I needed to do. I needed to put up firmer boundaries, stop being a doormat, stop allowing people to take my kindness as a weakness, and basically man up. That's what I had to do. I had to man up. I had to really, I really had to grow a pair. I had to grow a pair and say, you know something, stop being a people pleaser. Stop worrying about, if you're not going to be able to satisfy everyone and come through for everyone. People who understand, people who are understanding, if you're trying to work on your life and do what you got to do for you, they're always going to be there regardless. They're always going to be there. They're going to be understanding to what it is you're trying to do. I had to teach myself how to do that. I had to pretty much be like, you know what, it's no longer about I need this person in my life. I need this, I need that. No, it's I want. You have to turn the I needs to I want. Okay? I don't need you, but I want you. And at the end of the day, as an ex codependent, I was codependent for many, many years. Um, I felt the need to reduce myself to make that person feel good. I reduced my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts, my opinions. I don't like to say I dumbed myself down because I didn't, but I reduced what I believed in, what I thought I believed in at the time. I reduced myself to fill the needs, fulfill the part. And I realized that what I was doing was I was mirroring the person that was in my life. Just like they can mirror you guys, you can mirror them. And because you sit in that dynamic for so long, and because your mind is pretty much caught up with, what's going on there. So like while you're sitting here kind of confused, wondering what is happening and this and that person's already on to the next phase. I was mirroring the side of the people that were in my life. I was mirroring them. And because I was mirroring them, and because I was pretty much absorbing that energy and projecting it back onto them, because I mean, come on, let's face facts. If they're insecure people, their insecurities get projected onto us. We then project our insecurities onto them. So because I was mirroring back onto that person, they couldn't handle it. They didn't like that. It's okay for them to project onto you. It's okay for them to mirror you. It's okay for them to feel good at your expense. And it's okay for them to feel like they're on top of the world because you're putting them on that pedestal. But once you start projecting onto them, once you start showing them, because it's kind of like when you're mirroring, what are you doing? You're putting that mirror in front of them and you're showing them themselves. So I was pretty much showing this person, this is who you are. This is how you are throughout. And I got so caught up in it. I was so absorbed in it that I reduced myself. I was drained completely. I wasn't the same person. I really was not the same person that I was when I began the dynamic. And I was so lost and so in deep that I was scared that I was never going to break free from it. I was scared I was never going to break out of it, that I was going to be stuck, And I thank God every single day. I thank God that I was able to not only break free from it and get the help that I needed, but, I'm here now able to help other people do the same thing. Sorry guys. See. Good point about the enablers. They are also manipulated by the narc. They are victims. Yes, enablers are victims also. They are victims also. And they don't know they are enablers. They don't realize that they're enablers. They don't realize they're enabling the behaviors. And the reason they don't realize they're enabling the behaviors is because for every time a manipulator is brutal, disruptive, very, low vibrational, just mean, nasty, cruel, callous, you name it. For every time they are this way, they're equally sweet, loving, caring, you know, very, lovey dovey, all cuddly. I love you. I miss you, and this and that, or whatever the case may be. So it's that back and forth. It's that back and forth. You don't realize you're enabling because you are too busy taking on, internalizing the negatives and focusing on what you can do to change yourself to keep the positives. And you, as you're doing this, you're just getting more and more intertwined. That trauma bond is getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, because the more they hit you with that verbal abuse, emotional abuse, in some cases that physical abuse, and they hit you with the I love you and I'm sorry and it'll never happen again, and they're just all of a sudden making you breakfast in bed and making love to you when they never really did that before. They're just showing you all types of things that you're like, wow, like, okay, maybe they realized. No, they didn't realize nothing. They didn't realize nothing. What they're doing is they're getting you deeper into that trauma bond. Let's see. Yes, they will only if I had knowledge, knowing, and being more educated to pay attention to the red flags. Or maybe it wouldn't last so long. Yeah, I mean, I think that's everybody, Butch. I think everybody, they feel that if I'd have known then what I know now. But I think that, what, all knowledge comes in due time. It comes in, you have to experience. I mean, when you go for a job and if you don't have experience for that particular position, they're going to tell you, well, you can't come back unless you have experience. We need someone experienced in this. And I strongly believe, like I said before, these people are meant to be in our lives for a reason. It's for a season, but it's meant to teach you something. It's just meant to teach you something, that you're going through the same cycles in life because you haven't learned. You're going to continue repeating the same cycles until you learn. And if you notice that throughout the years. So if your dating history, your patterns are dealing with people who are extremely toxic, dealing with people who are extremely, who have just a lot of baggage and a lot of issues, it's because, and you're sitting there wondering, because I was the same way. Oh, how did I last with this person a year? How did I last with this person 3 years? Because I was continuing the same behaviors. I was not trying to break free from that pattern. And what happens? I go through what I go through and boom, I break free from it. Sometimes I think it's like the ultimate pain. It's the ultimate trauma that you feel, that you're like, oh, I'm changing my life. I'm changing my life. I'm getting away from all of this. This is not healthy. This is no good for me. And I can't, especially people who are older. The older we get, and you would think with age, a narcissist over time will mature. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she said, I guess it was, they said studies show that men hit full maturity when they're like, I think in their 40s, 42, 41, 42. And I can't sit there and say that I agree with that, because men, who reach that age, if you're dealing with a narcissist, if you're dealing with a sociopath, no, because a lot of narcissists suffer Peter Pan syndrome. Okay. A lot of narcissists think that they're young forever, think that, what, I'm going to be, they stay in that Peter Pan mode. And we're not talking physically, obviously, because you have aging narcissists, but we're talking mentally. They're in that Peter Pan mode. And for a narcissist, an easy life is better because it means there's no responsibility. They don't have responsibilities. They don't have to have the responsibility of having a mortgage or, having to, make car payments and do all of the, Narcissists are the kind of people that stay complacent in the life that they've built around themselves. They've built their lives the way they have it for a reason. All right. They avoid responsibility. They avoid accountability on anything. They're here for the moment type of people. They're like, if you notice you're dealing with people like this, especially people who are emotionally detached, when they say, emotionally unavailable people are the kind of people that are like, why do we got to worry about tomorrow? Why can't we live, for today? Meantime, they're 45 years old. And it's like, okay, what do you plan on doing with the rest of your life? Where do you plan on being? Do you have any kind of plans? Narcissists are the kind of people who don't have plans. They live as the day goes by. So if you have a 5-10 year plan where within 5 to 10 years, you want to have a marriage, you want to have kids, you want to have a house, you want to, you're basically just, you're not living on a schedule, but you're living with that in mind. Narcissists, they're the opposite of that. They weren't even expecting to be with you for the amount of time that they were with you. So let alone, are they going to have a 5-10 year plan? No, they're live for the moment kind of people. Let's just focus. Let's just focus today. They'll go with the flow kind of people. Let's just go with the flow. That is the language of emotionally unavailable people. Especially if they're older. People who talk like that are either like 18, 19, 20, hell, we'll even go up to 25. Because when you're in your late teens to your early 20s, you're not even thinking about that. You're not thinking about any of that. You're thinking about, what classes you're going to go to, or if you're in your mid 20s, you're thinking about what bars you're going to go hang out with your friends at. You're thinking about that kind of stuff. But if you're dealing with someone who's clearly old enough to, they should have their life in order, they should have everything together. In some cases, listen, not everybody comes in the full package, and everybody's going to come with as a pre-made package, but if you're dealing with a narcissist, especially if they're older, their thing is, I don't want to be abandoned, but I want to be left alone. And it's like, okay, what the hell does that mean? Generally, it just means I don't want you going anywhere. I just want you to be here when I feel I want you here or I need you. That's their mind. They don't want you expanding. They don't want you, going out to be with anyone else. That's why they don't give you clarity. That's why they don't give you closure. That's why they don't give you any of those things. Their thing is, I don't want you to abandon me, but I won't commit to you. I don't want you to leave me behind, but I won't give you what it is you want. It's about my needs. It's about my wants. That's why they have to use manipulation, guys. That's why they have to use the tactics that they use, because they don't, it's just like that. I want my cake and eat it too. I'm not giving you a commitment. I'm not giving you marriage. I'm not giving you this. I'm not giving you that, but I don't want you going anywhere. What was the post that I put up on my community board? What toxic is, they don't want to let you go, but they won't treat you right either. That's exactly what a narcissist is. They don't want to let you go. They don't want to let you be with someone else. They don't want to see you happy with someone else. They don't want to see you building with someone else. They don't want to see you doing any of those things. They want you in the spot where they left you. That's where they want you. So that way you can stay in that spot and sit there twiddling your thumbs while they're out and about doing whatever it is they want. And when they decide to come back, you better still be in that same spot. That is what a narcissist is. That is what and that's why they work so hard to wear a mask. And that is why they work so hard to scramble up your brain, because they need you that way. They need you that way, guys. I'm going to get back to the comments, guys. I just want to get to some of my notes here. So symptoms of narcissistic victim syndrome, they mimic symptoms of PTSD. Okay. So unwanted thoughts, right? Those thoughts pop up in your head every so often. You don't want, it's just kind of like, it just, that's kind of like how PTSD is. It's just like, you could be having a good day, nothing going on, then boom, the thoughts just come up. It happens, guys. It does happen. You get those thoughts in your heads, especially if you're, like clearly, post discard. Those thoughts will consistently pop up in your head when you're in the beginning stage of breaking free from after a narcissistic discard. You get triggers, okay, which are physical or emotional responses to situations that are similar to your traumatic situations. So a trigger is pretty much that response that you get to, if something is going on in your environment and it basically is similar to your traumatic experience with your, let's say, your narcissistic ex or your narcissistic family member. You're going to respond. So you're associating your trauma that you experienced in the past, you're associating that with the situation that's happening in your present. Okay, that's what a trigger is. Flashbacks, so that's recurring instances in which the individual feels like they're reliving a traumatic experience. Okay, the flashbacks brings you back. You get those, it's and a flashback can happen at any time, just like a trigger. It can happen at any time, guys. All right. And what a lot of people do to avoid these triggers and to try to avoid the flashbacks, because triggers might be a little bit more avoidable because you're not being presented with something that is reminding you of the traumatic experience, and because that's what brings on the trigger. A flashback, you could just be, I don't know, you could be on your stove cooking something and you just get a flashback. It can happen at any time. I wish there was a way to avoid that, but unfortunately, especially like I said, for people who are in the beginning stages of post discard, you probably will be experiencing a lot of that more in the beginning stages than you will going towards towards the end. Another thing we've done, avoiding people, places, or situations associated, excuse me, with the narcissist or the narcissistic person. So if you found yourself avoiding going to certain places, going to certain, venues, going to certain parks, going to, certain movie theaters, what have you, that's one of the clear-cut signs of, of the traumatic experience. It's what mimics PTSD, because it's pretty much the same thing, guys, if you really think about it. Like I've told people all the time, you're experiencing PTSD because PTSD is a reaction to a traumatic experience. It's an emotional and psychological reaction to a traumatic experience. And you feel extremely, I've experienced a lot for myself. You're feeling extremely alert or watchful all the time. So if you find yourself like leaving your house, or if you find yourself leaving work, or you're just walking around, or you're just going to certain areas, and there is that possibility, might not be, but there is that possibility that the person who with whom you've had that experience with, there is that possibility that you might bump into them. I've been through that stage plenty of times. You find yourself being more watchful. You find yourself looking over your shoulders. You find yourself looking to make sure that, and it's not that, you have anything to hide, or you have it's just like, I don't want to deal with this person. I don't want to be around this person, and I don't want this person to be around me. So you just kind of like, you find yourself monitoring more, finding yourself being more alert. You're looking around more. You're looking in certain places. You're just trying to make sure, because, and what you're trying to also do is you're kind of preparing yourself to find that exit strategy if it happens. So you're looking, to make sure that, oh, well, if I'm standing on this corner and that person's coming this way, I know to go that way, or I know to go in another direction, or I know to jump on the bus or jump in a cab or what have you. You find yourself becoming more alert. You're basically watching your back more, because you don't know. Listen, narcissists are known to be very vindictive people too. Okay, they can be very vindictive. So you can also find yourself looking out for yourself. Like I've plenty of times I've had sat there and like, I'm gonna have to watch my back. And it's not so much as I'm worried that, oh, somebody's gonna jump me or someone's gonna do this or that. it's just like, yo, I don't want to bring myself to that place. I don't want to put myself in that position. So I've always found myself looking back, looking around, making sure, you know, I don't look for trouble. I don't look for trouble. I don't expect trouble to look for me or find me. But at the end of the day, with everything you've gone through, you're watching your back. That's, you can't trust anybody. That's a clear-cut sign of PTSD too, guys, where you feel like there is like literally no trust. I can't trust anyone. I can't. It's just like, who do I trust? Where do I turn? It's because you've gone through so much, and the trauma was so much. That person or those people who had severely manipulated you have really, really damaged your ability to trust people, have damaged your ability to really let the guard down. Okay? They've damaged it. And, at the slightest, I used to get, I'm not going to say I got triggered. I didn't get triggered, but I would be like, if I saw someone who looked like the person, and I had been around a few people that I was like, oh, and I'm like, or if I'm on the train and I'm like, like it's just that, it brings you back. And you kind of have like that reaction. You just have that reaction like, whew, almost thought you was somebody else. Sorry, I almost threw my phone at someone at work because when I was walking out my door to go to the store and they were walking in and I turned, I had my phone in my hand and I literally almost, it was a reaction, guys. I'm not a violent person like that, but I had my phone and I'm like, I'm just closing the door and I turned around and I was like, oh, and he was like, whoa, you're going to throw your phone at me? And I'm like, I'm sorry. That's the PTSD. Sorry. It happens, guys. It does happen. Don't throw your phone at people though, especially if you got those $1,000 phones. You don't need to be throwing them at anybody. Okay, let's see. Will, do you take callers? I have a new relationship and have a few good questions that I think will go with the show. Sorry to change the subject. I'm new, but I really need advice. Don't want to get cheated. I understand. Will, what you can do after I'm done with the live, you can I list my email in the description box. You can shoot me an email and we could take it from there, okay? Is this common for Narc? When you ask a question, they don't answer the question fully. It's like a passive aggressive answer or even indecisive. Yes, Yanis. When you ask them a question, they're going to be extremely vague. Okay. By vague, they're going to they may omit stuff, so like they'll feed you like maybe half truths, or they'll feed you breadcrumbs, in that they'll they'll kind of like bounce around it. They'll bounce around the answer, or they'll like kind of skim through stuff. And this is a tactic used because in the future, if it turns out that, like if you ask them a question pertaining to that same situation sometime in the future, their story is going to change. They're going to gaslight you. So they're pretty much going to, be like, oh, well, that conversation we had June 15th, 2020, you told me X, Y, and Z, but it really turned out to be this. Well, I told you that. I told you that. They did it on purpose. They're very, very like evasive. They're kind of like, I'm going to give you certain things, but I'm not going to give you specifics. I'm not going to give you details. I'm not going to give you the full truth. I'm going to give you like half truths. And that's, of course, again, if in the future, you guys come back to that subject, it's going to be, with everything that goes on between June 15, 2020 to the time that you're having that conversation, be it if it's a year or 2 years later, they're banking on everything that happened between the two of you to kind of get in the mix of it, so you probably wouldn't even remember. But if you're, listen, certain things, if you're like me, certain things that are said stick out like a sore thumb. Okay. Certain people stick out like a sore thumb. So if you tell me something about an individual on, let's say, January 13th, 2019, and I come to you January 13th, 2021, and I'm asking you a question pertaining to that conversation back in 2019, and you are basically, you were giving me half truths, you were saying whatever at that time. Clearly, I'm bringing it to your attention because something has come to my attention. And something from that conversation stuck out like a sore thumb to me. I may not have mentioned anything about it back then, but I'm the type of person, I like to have facts. I like to have proof of things. That's how I operate. Okay. Everybody's different. I like to have actual tangible facts. Okay. And even though some people can say, well, you saw the narc doing X, Y, and Z, but your eyes can be playing trick on, your mind can be playing tricks on you. And, it could be, it's circumstantial evidence. Fuck that. Okay. Screw that. Circumstantial evidence, my ass. Use that when there's a murder case. Okay. You can use that, but not when it boils down to this, because as you were trying, you were in the discard phase, you're going through all of that, and you're trying to gain some form of clarity. You're trying to understand what is going on. You're trying to understand why the person who told you I love you and they were just cuddling up on you not that long ago is now ignoring you, giving you the silent treatment, doing all this, yelling at you, cursing you out, giving you narcissistic rage. You mean to tell me I'm seeing things? So I'm seeing this person act like a social butterfly with everybody else on social media, especially people of the opposite sex or same sex, whatever your preference is, guys. I'm trying to gain clarity. They too busy cursing me out, but they giving these other people another side, a whole nother different side of themselves. And my mind is playing tricks on me. My eyes are playing tricks on me. Man, if you do not get out of my face with that bullshit, okay? If you do not get out of my face with that bullshit, we're not about to sit here and say, well, yeah, that's just you're feeling some kind of way, so you're creating things up in your head. No, I'm not creating nothing in my head. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. And all this that's going on, you're now trying to negate and validate my feelings. People will do that too, guys. Be very careful with that. Okay? People can do that too, where it's, you guys are familiar with the discard. You're familiar with that stage. You know how that stage goes. Okay? That's the dreaded stage. And at the end of the day, whether you're dealing with a narc, whether you're dealing with a narcissistic person, guys, I told you what the difference between the two is. You're dealing with someone who's a sociopath. You're dealing, whether you're dealing with anyone that's on the spectrum, everything they were doing, they did it because they got away with it with someone else. Because they managed to pull that same shit on somebody else. And maybe because somebody else that they managed to pull that on. See, I'm like this. That shit may have worked on the last person. That shit ain't working with me. I may hurt. I'm going to cry. I'm going to get through my healing. Okay? I did it all, guys. I hurt. I cried for years. It was for years. Okay? It wasn't just months. It wasn't days. It wasn't weeks. I cried. I hurt. And I did everything I needed to do to heal. Okay? I did everything I needed to do to help myself, not fix myself, because I didn't need to be fixed. I didn't need to be fixed. I knew I was a good person. I knew I was a genuine person. That's another thing, is you don't need to be fixed. You don't need to be fixed. To fix you means that you are broken. You're not broken. You are not broken. These people are broken, okay? In a very emotional, spiritual, and psychological, as well as physiological sense. They're broken. You're not broken. You just, you know what? You just gave to the wrong people. That's it. You just gave to the wrong people. You gave to people who you gave more than what they deserved. You gave more than what they were worthy of, and they took advantage of it. Okay? These people have so much that they need to learn, and that's on them. That's on them. But don't ever let people have you feeling that, you know, doing all of this and going through all of this and taking back your power and standing up for yourselves. I stood up for myself. I'm not going to sit here idly. I'm not going to sit here idly and not speak my truth. I'm not going to do that. Maybe the last person wouldn't do it. Hell, if he's a victim of narcissistic abuse and his ex is the narcissist and she played him and she did all kinds of crap, he wanted to keep his mouth shut. That's on him. I'm not keeping my mouth shut. And I'll be damned. I will be damned if I have the opportunity to use what I've learned with my experience to help other people. I'll be damned if I'm just going to keep that to myself. I'm going to help as many people as I possibly can, because it would make me no better as a victim, as a survivor. It would make me no better by just staying shut, because then I'm just basically, as a victim, at post discard, going through everything I went through, I'm still enabling it, guys. And you know what? You speak your truth, man. Do not be afraid to do it. Don't be ashamed to do it. Don't be afraid to say, you know something? I went through A, B, and C. I went through all of this. I allowed this. I allowed that. But you know what? It made me a better person. It taught me so much about myself. It taught me what I needed to do. You know, listen, if you have victims who don't want to, and that's fine. I strongly encourage, people talk about it more and open up about it more, because there's a reason behind all of this. There's a reason why almost 200 million people are victims, have been victims of narcissistic abuse, whether it be relationships or families. There's a reason why, because a lot of people are not talking about it. A lot of people are not opening up about it. They're not speaking on it. They're not saying anything about it. And at the end of the day, I don't know, maybe it's fear. Maybe it's, that they feel shame. Maybe maybe they're not ready. I'm not here to push anybody, but I refuse. And I think that's one of the biggest things about this whole experience for me. I seriously refuse to just sit by and be quiet and say, okay. No, I walked away gracefully. I walked away with respect. I walked away with my dignity. I walked away with every ounce of, whatever little bit of me I had left. I walked away with all of that. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to open my mouth about it. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to say what happened. And if people don't want to believe me, that's on them. You don't have to believe me. You did not go to my therapy. You did not deal with the triggers. You did not deal with the withdrawals. You did not deal with the pain, the invalidation, the disrespect, the hurt, the agony. And the reason a lot of people will look at you and be like, oh, I think you're maybe taking it a little too far, or maybe, you're just kind of exaggerating, is because they have not seen that side of the person. You guys have seen a side of the individual that possibly no one has ever seen, or only other victims have seen. Okay? They're not like that with their friends. They're not like that with their friends. Narcissists are not like that with their friends. Why? Because either one, these are friends that can be easily manipulated, or two, these are friends that are manipulators too. Okay? They're not like that with other people. They're like that with people they deem as weak. They thought you were weak. They said, hey, what the hell? This person will do anything for me. This person cares about me. This person's not going anywhere. Because a narcissist, the reason why a narcissist deals and wants a codependent person is because they fear abandonment. And they know that a codependent person fears abandonment. Therefore, they're not going to abandon the narcissist. They're not going to abandon. Well, they're too codependent. They're not going to abandon me. They're not going to leave me. They're going to stay right here where I put them. because they were too busy trying to make my life easy while I made their life a living hell. Break the cycle, guys. Break the cycle. Start speaking up. Start opening up your mouths. It took me a while before I admitted. It took me a while before I was able to open up about it, before I was able to talk about it. It took me a while. It took me almost a year and a half, 2 years almost, after the discard and everything I was going through. And at first I was scared because I was afraid of what people would think of me. I was afraid of, in the beginning, I was afraid that if I spoke my truth, if I said what happened, if I, expressed myself, I was afraid that, damn, if I do this, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was afraid I was going to lose him completely. That's because I was still stuck in the trauma bond. I was still stuck in the, am I still here with him, or should I go this way? And I was scared, guys. I was scared to walk away. I was scared to leave. I was scared to let it go because I feared the unknown. I was like, but there's some good to him. There's a part of him that is really good. And that was the part of him that I projected onto him. You understand that? You projected parts of yourself onto the person. That was the part that you thought was good about that person because of what you projected onto them. They projected onto you what people will call the shadow side, the dark side. You projected onto them what you felt internally about yourself, your empathy, your sympathy, your love, your generosity, your caring, your genuineness. That's what you projected onto them. It's amazing how this stuff works, guys. It really, really is. Is it possible to have the Peter Pan syndrome and not be narcissistic? Yes, Butch, it is. It is possible. It is possible to have Peter Pan syndrome. And actually, I mentioned that in the video, Peter Pan syndrome and narcissism. It is possible to have Peter Pan syndrome and not be a narcissist. People with Peter Pan syndrome are simply people who are of age. They just simply refuse to grow up. They refuse to grow up. People who suffer Peter Pan syndrome are the kind of people who, clearly are much older, because when they say the term Peter Pan syndrome, it's like you're referring to people who are a lot older, who should be, at that point in time in their lives, living like adults. But those are the kind of people that are, they're just categorized as people who, like, I don't know if you've seen those movies of people, like the, guys or even girls. I mean, it's all the same, that, like still live with their parents, and they're like, 50s, 40s, 50s, and they're still living, in the, it's, I'm not saying it's wrong to live with your parents, guys. I mean, I don't know what your situation is, but people of this nature, Peter Pan syndrome, are the kind of people that are complacent. They are comfortable. Maybe they're codependent. Maybe they rely on their parents. I don't know. Maybe, the parents coddled them too much, to the point where it's like, it's a mama's boy, or, a daddy's girl, or a mama's girl. I don't know. But it's pretty much where people who are so complacent in living the easy life, because they're living with their parents, they're living off their parents, they don't have responsibilities like that. They don't have to take on responsibilities like that. They don't want to take on responsibilities like that. They like that lifestyle of just, I'm just going to live with my parents for the rest of my life, or I'm going to live like I'm a teenager for the rest of my life. I'm going to live like I'm a kid. Those are the kind of people that avoid commitments. They avoid serious commitments. They avoid being in relationships with people, because clearly being in a relationship means putting in work, means being responsible, means creating a future. People who suffer this syndrome, they're not looking for that. They're pretty much, I'm living for today. I'm here for the moment. That's it. Those are the kind of people that suffer Peter Pan syndrome. So if you know someone, or if you are friends with someone, or even relatives with someone who clearly, go check out the video, guys, and it'll tell you, they clearly are, they're like a child in an adult body. Yeah, yeah, Alda, it's that they're like a child in an adult body. They don't want to grow up. They want to be a kid, so to speak. They want to be a kid the rest of their life. They don't want the responsibilities. If I mean, listen, let's be realistic, guys. If we could just live with our parents and pay the minimum, we would do that, right? I mean, if it was feasible, yeah. But at the end of the day, someone of this nature is one who's just like, nah, I like my life the way it is. I get to hop around, like a bed hop. I can hang out. I could do what I want. I don't gotta answer to nobody. And you know what? I can come home, and they're commitment folks. They're just real commitment folks. They don't want to grow up. They don't want to grow up. Narcissists, on the other hand, who suffer Peter Pan syndrome, because a narcissist can suffer Peter Pan syndrome, are pretty much the same, except they take their irresponsibilities beyond that. They take a step further. They look at it, like having children. No. If they do have children, more than likely, narcissist females who have children, they're going to have someone else taking care of their kids. So they'll have someone else watching their children while they go out and do whatever it is they want to do. All right. So, like when it boils down to having kids, because they don't connect with their kids, they don't emotionally, mentally connect with their kids. The only time, if you notice, and I mean, everybody's different. I don't, you pretty much don't know what's going on in anyone's home, but the only time a narcissist, for example, a narcissist mother will connect with her kids is if it's done publicly. So if it's like, posing for the world, posing for the camera, posing for whomever, they will pose as the world's greatest mother. I'm the world's greatest mom. I love my baby. I love my kid, or whatever. But they're not connecting with them on an emotional or on a psychological level. They're just pretty much doing it for the show because, they want people to look at them as something they're not. But majority of the time, they would be the kind of people that would rely on other people to watch their kids constantly, just take care of their responsibilities, because they don't want to do that, because they're in their mind, I don't have time to be, for a narcissist, a female narcissist, a narcissist mother, they will either abandon their children because they feel that, what, this is just, I'm not equipped to be a mom. I don't want to be a mom. This is not the kind of lifestyle I want to live. I'm just, the reality of it is that it robs them in their mind. It robs them of their, their uniqueness, their sense of, living the lifestyle that they want to live, and being where they want to be, and doing what it is they want to do. If it's going to take away from them doing what they want in life, take away their freedom, if they do decide to have a child, chances are they're going to pass the child along to either their relatives, or the other parent, and the other parent will be the one left to take care of the child. So the narc mom can go out and do whatever she wants. And of course, it's the same thing vice versa. When it boils down to the other parent, if the other parent is a narc. Kelly Miller, they use their relatives' houses for their breaks in between females. Yeah, I mean, they can use them for so many different reasons. When it boils down to, I mean, the reality of it is that when it boils down to these types of people, Peter Pan syndrome, again, they're just straight up adults with the minds of children. I'm still young. I can do what I want. I could act immature. I can be. It's just immaturity. They're they're not acting their age. They're acting their shoe size. That's how it is for them. For narcissists, well, they're very good at what they do. They're very good at what they do. They're good at telling their stories. They're good at covering every end. Whatever they're going to tell you as a story, whatever they're going to tell you to, like to lie to you, or whatever the case may be, it's all, every time, it's always well thought out. Okay, it's thought out, and when it boils down to friends of the narcissist, family members of the narcissist, their loyalty lies with them. Their loyalty is always going to lie with them, no matter what. Okay, so if you dealt with a narc and if you think their friends are your friends, think again, buddy, because they're not. They're not your friends. All right? They're not your friends. And if you still choose to be friends with these people or keep them in your environment, whatever the case may be, just do it with caution and make sure you always stay on guard with it. But so wouldn't that be considered to be their flying monkeys? But who would be their flying monkeys? Just clarify that for me, please. Alda, I know someone who is a narcissist mother and she uses her child as emotional incest to meet her needs only. It's crazy. Yes. Yeah. Mothers mothers are the mothers ingrain in their children's mind that mommy is number one. I'm your priority. I'm your responsibility. Okay? No woman comes before me. Okay? Narcissist mothers have ingrained in their children's minds that they are the responsibility of the child or the children. And if the child or the children refuse to play the game that the narc mom is clearly putting on them, clearly she's going to use guilt. She's going to instill guilt in the child's mind. And by child, guys, I mean, it could be the adult child too. Okay. It doesn't have to just be a little child. We're talking adults too. She will instill guilt. She'll make her child feel guilty for wanting to have their own life, for wanting to, go out and be with someone, whatever, get married, whatever the case may be. She will, and she will use other family members to help, thwart that guilt towards the child. So she'll clearly, if you're not playing at the narc mother's game, or if the person you're dealing with is not playing with their narcissist mother, playing that game, she'll basically use, instill the guilt by utilizing other family members to join in and attacking the person or attacking you. I don't know, let's see. You have narc mothers who, will have the family make that person feel guilty for not wanting to consistently take care of the parent. So how dare you treat your mom like this? She's done so much for you. She has taken care of you throughout your life, and now you're going to turn your back and you're not going to take care of her. When it simply is, she's taking the fact that you want to be autonomous and you want to have your own life. Not that you're abandoning your mother, but you're just trying to have your own life. What do narcissists do, guys? They flip everything around, right? They twist everything around. So if you say, well, mom, listen, I'm going to help out or whatever the case may be, but I got my own life to live too. Okay. She'll flip that around. She'll just easily flip. Well, I've done everything and anything for you, and now you're going to abandon me. I'm not abandoning you, but I have a girlfriend, or I have a boyfriend, or I have a wife, and I have a husband. Oh, so you're putting your husband and your wife before your own family? You're putting your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend before your own mother? I mean, who are they? How that's how it starts. That's how it starts. And one of the things I've learned, if you're dealing with someone in a toxic dynamic, especially if they have a very unhealthy, unnatural attachment with their parents, whether it be mom or whether it be dad, if you start to notice certain things that just don't seem right, if you start to notice how, if you're dealing with someone who they're for example, ladies, if you're dealing with a guy who seems more like his mother's husband than he does her son, that's a problem. fellas, if you're dealing with a female, it's the same thing when it boils down to her father, you know, or even with her mother. I don't know, but it's like, yo, the dynamic is not. It's like, yo, what are you? Are you their wife, their husband, or are you their child? Which one is it? Well, you know, I mean, listen, that's how it is in my family. You know, we got to take care of. No, you don't have to, but it's good to take care of your parents because that's what's in your heart. Like, your parents are not supposed to make you feel guilty for wanting to be autonomous. They're not supposed to make you feel guilty for wanting to live your own life. But because your parents, you know, if they're narcissists, guys, I mean, I can't, I call them as I see them, okay? If they were, you know, if they loved you and they cared about you and they cared about your happiness, they will be understanding, they will be supportive, they will be appreciative of the fact that you're even. How many people in the world done took their parents and just threw them into homes? Okay. And yet you got narcissistic parents that are making their kids feel bad for wanting to have their own lives because they have something to gain out of it. The reason they do that is because they have something to gain out of it, whether it be finances, whether it be, you know, finances by you taking care of the bills, you paying for stuff in the house. Okay. Narcissists, and I've gone over this too before, guys. Narcissist parents are just as devious as a narcissist in a relationship with you. Family members, narcissistic family members, are just as conniving. They use their position in your life as a form of entitlement. Family, if you notice that family members feel entitled because you're blood, because you're related, because you spend some summers together, because you guys, you know, there's a difference between being a close-knit family and being a family that are chained together. Okay, family members that are chained together, that's not a healthy dynamic. That really is not a healthy dynamic. And when it boils down to narcissist parents, they're a lot more devious, guys. They're extremely devious. And because they've instilled so much manipulation in the dynamic with their kids, when it boils down to their devious acts, you can't say anything about it because that's your parent. So they could lie to you. What are you going to do? They can steal from you, okay? Because since the parents are entitled, what do? They, you know, they can go into your room, they can touch your stuff. They can, this is my house. I can do what I want. I can go into your closet if I want to. I can go under your bed. You have no privacy. You have none of that because they are entitled. The parents are entitled to do that. They can go into your bank account and take out $400 if they wanted to. They could put a bill in your name if they wanted to. Parents, these are narcissistic parents who do this. And some people have been like, I mean, listen, some people who normalize this kind of behavior, they clearly need to check themselves because that's not normal behavior. That's not normal behavior. And when, you know, the narcissist parent feels that they got the child by the balls, because that's usually how it is, guys. If you're dealing with a narc parent, they're looking at you like, you need me. You have narcissist parents who spent their entire lives sabotaging their children to push them in the position where they need the parent. Okay? I don't know how many of you have dealt with a narc parent, but you know, I don't know if you've ever dealt with a narc parent that has financially sabotaged you in effort to keep you stuck to take care of them. How many of you have a narc parent who's sick and continues to not do what they're supposed to do to get better, but actually purposely keep themselves sick so you can take care of them? Yes, they're a lot more devious, guys. Very, very devious. Yeah, that's pretty much how a narc mother is. A narc mother, you will never. I don't get in between a man and his mother. Okay, whether she's a narc, whatever, I don't care. I'm not getting between a man and the day comes that I think, well, this has to be a competition between me and between me and your mother. There is no competition. I'll gladly walk away. I'm not gonna sit here and try to fight with a mother over her son. I'm not going to sit here and try to teach a grown ass man how to treat me because his mother feels, she can control him on whatever aspects. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I've learned that how a man is emotionally attached to you depends on how his mother was attached to him. Because ladies, as mothers, we are responsible to teach our children how to be emotional. Yeah, dads do play a role in that, but it's more so the mother's responsibilities. We are responsible to teach them the equal balance, to teach them empathy, sympathy, affection. We are responsible, and I've said this in one of my other videos. I am responsible to teach my son how to love properly and how to be loved properly. That is my responsibility. Okay. And it starts with leading by example. So in order for my son to show your daughter proper love, I have to teach my son proper love. In order for him to respect your daughter, I have to teach him how to respect. These are things that I have to teach him. You think a narcissist mother is going to take accountability for failing her son or failing her daughter? They're not going to take accountability for any of that. If anything, they're probably going to push the blame onto the other parent. That's all your father. Well, that's your fault. That's you, that's your dad, that's everybody. A narcissist is going to blame everybody and their mother except for take responsibility themselves. So, no, Alda, you will never win when it boils down to anyone's mother. But when it comes to a narcissist mother, you're never going to win with them. She's a master manipulator. I've never seen anything like it. She deliberately prevents them from personal growth. Yeah, that's what they do. They do that. They sabotage everything so that way people can take care of them. So people can take care of them. And they go, hi Green, hi sweetheart. They go as far as stealing from their own kids, sabotaging their finances. So they are stuck. They can't afford to go where they need to go. They can't afford to have the life, you know how many people who have narcissistic parents could have been in their life growing and doing what they have. No, not with a narc parent. You try to become autonomous, they're going to basically try to attack you. My ex-narc brought the new supply by my house so he can get the rest of his stuff and out my house. He looked very demonic that day. He refused to give back the key to the house while he was leaving. Yeah, he brought that person to try to get a response out of you. I would suggest you change the locks. He doesn't want to give you back the key. Fine. Change the locks. Change those locks. Because that's like, I'm not giving you back the key. Why? You came here to get your stuff. You bring your new girlfriend or whatever over here, or your new supply, or whoever the hell she is, and you're not trying to give me the key? No. Change those locks. Logan says, buy a gun. I don't know about all that. I mean, but of course, depending on where you're from, depending on, if you're going to keep it in the house for safety, depending on situations happen, that might be an option, but I would definitely change the locks. Hello Kitty, and just keep it moving. Keep it moving. Don't bother with him, because that clearly shows that he has no intention on trying to, it's like, I have no intention on really letting you go. I have no intention on really taking you serious on this whole matter. So I'm going to keep the key because I know sometime in the future, change the locks. Just change them. Okay? Don't give him any more access. Don't let him back in. Change everything, guys. But guys, oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad that I was able to get through most of the notes. I love talking to you guys. You guys are really like every time I come on, you guys really make my nights. I really am appreciative of it. And I'm appreciative of all the new people that have been joining. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for interacting. John, really? Amanda, can you take care of that, please? Because I'm about 2 seconds to really hold on a second, guys. Yeah, I don't. All right. Sorry, guys. I had someone here on the I had someone here in the chat getting a little stupid, and I'm trying so hard to refrain from using very foul language. I told you guys I can get very nasty. I can get very nasty, and I'm trying not to do that. We had such a good vibe going on this evening. We had everything, and good for you, Logan. Had a narc emotionally abusing my sister, had to check him and his family. That's what I'm talking about. Good for you. I could definitely appreciate that. Sometimes, you know something, a lot of especially male narcissists, they when it boils down to the females, because their egos are so like, they look at women like, oh, well, you're not gonna do anything, you're weaker, this and that, failing to understand that we got brothers, okay? I have three brothers, one who's in the military, two who don't give a fuck, and my father who's in law enforcement. So anybody wants to try that shit, I mean, please, by all means, do so. Seriously. Andrea, sweetheart, thank you, sweetie. Thank you. Yeah, I bought a new hair product toy. It's called the volumizer. And oh girl, love it. Love it. Best thing I ever invested in. Yeah, Kelly, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. And I don't tolerate that. Bullying shit, I don't tolerate that. Not when it boils down to the people who are involved in the channel and the people who have been here with me throughout everything. Amanda, did you see what that dude was posting? Oh, thank you, Alda. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad you guys were able to be here. All of you new guys. Logan. Got Logan here. I got Alda. I got Kelly here. I don't forget names, guys, especially if you guys like join frequently, which I hope, I hope you do. I hope this is a start of you guys joining. But to Lori, thank you, sweetheart. Yes, I did. And praise God indeed, because God is good. He's good all the time. Yeah, no, Logan, when it boils down to the only reason why people haven't gotten involved is because I felt the need to just do it on my own. And I did it the right way. I didn't need to involve. But sometimes, yeah, they get too bad, or they get to the point where you gotta involve. But you definitely get props for me for that, because sometimes it takes a real man. It takes a real man to put a dude in his place when he's not treating a woman the way he should be treating her. So I definitely give you props for that. I definitely do. But guys, I thank you all so very much for being here. I love these weekly chats with you guys. I love talking with you guys. I love just vibing with you guys. You guys are truly awesome, and you make this just so worth it. You really make it worth it. Yeah, well, Kelly, you know something? I hope you hit the subscribe button. Yes, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be here with you guys. And I'm gonna try to catch up on the videos. In the meantime, I am gonna continue posting up on the community board. If you guys have any suggestions, you know where to hit me up, you know what to let me know. what it is you would like for me to do. If you have any, questions or any video suggestions, I'm open to everybody. So if you have experiences and you kind of want me to talk about it, get a little more deep into it, not your personal experience, but what it entails, shoot me a message. I'll be more than glad to do it. And I got, Amanda who joins me for, some lives. Sometimes we do sip chat, and we try to get so involved with you guys, because you guys really are you guys are all amazing people. You really, really are all amazing people. And you know what? Maybe these people didn't realize it. Maybe these people didn't see it, but you get to, you finally get to be who you're meant to be. And you finally get to see what it is that you deserve. You guys deserve the best, man. Like everybody deserves happiness, and unfortunately you got a few bad apples, but we don't let it consume us. We don't let it consume us, and we don't let it drag us down. We got to keep moving forward. We got to keep doing what we got to do. So, and that's what I'm here for, guys. That's what I'm here for. So guys, thank you so very much for joining me tonight. You see how I didn't get crazy? I, kept this simple. And of course, even though we had a little troll up in here, he gets kicked out. He's not going to mess with my vibe. Not tonight, guys. Not tonight. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Please be sure to hit the like button on your way out. If you enjoyed today's session, I'm going to set up the title for everything. And of course, Renewed Mind, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I'm going to put up everything. It's going to stream on YouTube. It's going to stream on Facebook. If you are new and you haven't yet, if you did enjoy the session, check out the other videos. See if it helps you out. See if you enjoy it. And that's a whole nother language right there, Sakib. I don't know. I'll have to Google translate that one. Thank you, though. Thank you. I see flowers, so I think it's a good thing. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying, guys? I really can't remember. Oh, if you're new, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell thingy, the notification bell thingy. Oh, Logan, thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Hit the notification bell so you're notified each time I put up a video. And of course, I will be back here Tuesday again, 8 p.m. You guys already know the drill. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. And in the meantime, I'll be working on the next video. Stay tuned for it. And of course, like I said, guys, if you got suggestions, shoot them at me. Throw them at me. I will be more than glad to help you with anything that you need help with. And of course, to help explain any type of situation, to the best of my ability. Okay. I'm definitely going to do my best on it. So again, guys, thank you so much. Alda, thank you. Thank you so much. I enjoy having you guys here. You guys are awesome. And for everybody else who is part of the, the original tribe that could not be here today, catch it on the stream, and you know how to reach me if you need to. So to my new subscribers, thank you guys for joining. I hope to see you guys next week. Be on the lookout for my next video, guys. I will be posting up on the community board, so we'll give you a little preview of it. And until next time, guys, I had a great night. Thank you so much. I'm gonna actually sleep like a baby tonight because I got to speak with you all. So have a great night, guys. Much love, peace, happiness, all that good stuff. You know how it goes. I gotta wash the mask off and get ready for bed because I gotta be up for work tomorrow morning. Love you all, guys. I will see you all next week. Good night, guys. Bye.